guys, it's MandaPanda. Today we have an exciting custom My Little Pony tutorial inspired by the Llama Piñata from Fortnite. For this custom, I selected Coco Pommel because her saddlebags are just what we need for this custom. This pony is so much bigger than the 4-inch ones I normally customize, but that's okay. It just means we can fit so many more details onto the custom pony. So let's start off by getting Miss Coco Pommel all ready for her transformation. I'm cutting off the bulk of her hair with some large scissors, and then let's go in with some smaller ones and cut the hair as close to the scalp as we possibly can. That's going to make it easier for us to remove the hair roots which are stuck inside of the pony's head because they've been glued in really well. We can just go ahead and use some tweezers, scratch out all of the hair plugs, pull them out, and then she is all ready for her customization to begin. And now I want my llama to have a regular mane, no bangs, so we need to cover up some of the extra holes that were left in the pony's head after we removed the bangs. I'm going to be using a little bit of Sugru to fill those holes in. It is a type of air dry rubber that I just personally prefer over air dry clay. I've spread it around with my fingers, and while it's drying, let's mix up our first custom color for the llama, a pretty shade of orchid, which is a mixture of a light purple and a bright pink. And let's go ahead, take that color and paint the head with 3, maybe even 4 coats of paint. Using a pair of pliers to hold the head in place while you paint really helps prevent any smudging. Now that that base coat has completely dried, we can work on the llama's eyes. We usually use a round shape for My Little Pony eyes, but this llama piñata is gonna look so much better with oval shaped ones. So I started off with a dark purple, added a little bit of white for some highlights, and went in with some black for the pupil. And then we can top off these eyes with 2 light reflections, one oval shaped one up at the top and a round one down at the bottom. Let's outline that eye, and now that the painting's done, we can seal all of our work in with 2 layers of clear top coat. Once that top coat has completely dried, we can give the llama piñata its harness. It has one that goes around the mouth and one that goes around the head. I mixed up some blue and red to make this dark purple shade of Sugru. I smoothed it on with my fingers, and now we're going to go in with a blunt clay tool to better shape our edges and get crisp, clean lines. The Sugru very easily just scrapes right off. Time for llama to get a new mane. I have raspberry sorbet, ultraviolet, forget-me-not, and atomic turquoise. These are perfect matches to the shades in the llama's body, and all of these hair colors came from dollyhair.com. I want my Little Pony llama piñata to have a full mane of hair, so I've cut the original hanks of hair to 1/3 of the original length. But if you would like your pony to maybe have a mohawk, you might want to consider cutting the hair to 1/6 of the original length. And if you just want to not have any mane at all, you could just fill in all of the holes with Sugru like we did in the beginning. Using my rerooting tool, I like to put a piece of hair around my fingers and very gently pick that hair up in between the 2 prongs, and then press it firmly into one of the existing holes where we pulled hair out of earlier. And the hair plug will just anchor itself nicely into the pony's head, but we still need to secure all of these hair plugs from the inside because we don't want them to accidentally get loose if we tug on them while playing with the pony. So I'm going to put a generous amount of super glue inside of the head and evenly spread that around with a Q-tip. That's it for the head. Let's get started on the llama's body. I want to create a slight indentation for the llama's hoof, so I went ahead and put down a little bit of sugru. And you can see now I'm able to create that indentation, but there's too much sugru down at the bottom, so let's scrape that off and then we can go ahead and smooth down the excess. How awesome does that look? Let's paint the bottom of the hoof a dark purple. This is the same purple I used for the eyes, and then we can paint the rest of the body a nice shade of blue. That's all of the paint the body requires, so let's cover it up with 2 layers of top coat and then grab some vinyl. This is the same vinyl that you use if you have a Cricut machine. I have cut it into tiny little strips and then mounted those strips onto plastic wrap because the vinyl is actually a sticker on one side and I didn't want the layers of piñata to get stuck to themselves. Now let's very quickly cut out the strips using an X-Acto knife, and then we can go ahead and add some fringe to these strips by cutting upwards just like this. I'm going to cut the fringe across the entire strip, and then we can just attach these to the llama. Let's try super glue first because it is the thinnest glue that I could think of. Hot glue would have been really big and bulky, and regular Elmer's glue, the white glue, would have just taken way too long to dry and our strips might have moved out of place. Let's start off with the light purple and do 2 rows of each color. Light purple first, then the dark purple, blue, and then a turquoise. If you wanted to, you can take a pair of scissors and trim the edges of the fringe to make it look more uneven, just like the Fortnite llama piñata. So let's repeat this process over and over again until this piñata is all covered up. Now, traditionally, piñatas are made out of tissue paper, but I didn't want to use that for a custom because if the tissue paper gets wet, the custom would have been ruined, and I thought that this vinyl was the perfect replacement, and it's going to last way more than paper. And how awesome does this look? The vinyl came in the exact colors that I needed. At the top, it does look a little ugly, so I cut out a tiny little rectangle and we can just stick that right in the middle to cover up where all of our pieces came together. The body's almost done. It's just missing a tail. I have some of the dark purple here. Let's twist tie it together nice and firmly. Put that right through the tail hole right here, and then reach into the body with a pair of pliers and pull that tail through about halfway, and then reinforce it with a zip tie. The end of that zip tie is not going to fit through the pony's tail hole, so that tail is going to remain nice and secure inside of the pony's body. Now for the final piece of our llama piñata, let's start working on the saddlebag. I want the bag to remain functional so that way you can still open and close it. So I have actually covered the bottom half of the bag with a piece of plastic. I just taped it in the back, and then we are going to layer a piece of gray sugru across the front and then cut off the excess to make a nice big rectangle just like the llamas. I'm gonna let that sugru completely dry, and hopefully this trick with the plastic worked. Let's see if we can peel it off, and we could. So that's awesome. See, we have the front of the bag and it still opens. How cool does that look, you guys? Now let's go in with this taupe color and paint the entire bag. It is going to take 2 coats to cover up all of that pink. Let's paint the gray Sugru rectangle with an off-white ivory color, and once that dries we can go in with some brown and paint in the arrow right here at the front. I also thought we can add a little bit more details by using a soft black, really dark gray color to outline the edges of the front. The last thing that needs to be painted is the middle. Let's use that same dark purple and then seal the entire saddlebag with 2 layers of top coat, and then I'm just gonna use the remaining bit of gray Sugru to add the little details and the lock on this bag. Let's put the llama all together and take a look at our completed custom. Here is our custom My Little Pony inspired by the Llama Pinata from the video game Fortnite. How awesome did she come out? This looks so cool. The fringe all on her body really looks like a piñata. This is so awesome. I am in love with the way that the saddlebag came out, a lot like the video game, and her hair, that mane is so pretty. Those colors really complement each other and look so great together. But like I said, if you want to make this custom and you want your llama to look more like the video game, you could just completely skip the mane, maybe add some layers of fringe at the head, or you could even give the pony a mohawk if you want it to be more of a male pony. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you make your own custom Fortnite llama piñata pony, I would love to see your finished pony. So send me some pictures on Facebook or Instagram, and if you have an idea for my next custom pony, I would love to hear it. So leave me your ideas down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, little pandas. Until next time, bye. You can follow me online to get the latest news and updates. Like my Facebook page, facebook.com/MandaPanda Toy Collector, or follow me on Instagram at MandaPanda Toy Collector. Want to mail me something? Guess what? You can. Mail it to MandaPanda P.O. Box 2855, Humble, Texas 77347.